comfort zone is dangerous.
You need to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Want success? Model the best. So today, let's learn one of the most common rules that successful people follow: turn negatives into positives.
The comfort zone is dangerous. When you're comfortable, you are at most danger. The comfort zone is somewhere you should never feel comfortable. You should be happy and dissatisfied. Anybody ever tell you, hey, look, you know what? Just be satisfied with what you got. Don't believe them. Get them away from you.
Yeah, that's good.
You should never be satisfied with what you got. Because the attempt to get more makes you into something better all the time. Don't let anybody tell you, hey, man, you should just be happy with. No! You should double your business.
Come on.
Triple it.
You need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You need to get used to being uncomfortable. Human being, we don't like discomfort. You know how sometimes you sit for too long and then you're like, oh, I gotta change it. You are very, very comfortable until you get uncomfortable sitting for a long time. Then you want to adjust, right? You want to move around. That's exactly it. You have to make yourself uncomfortable on a consistent basis. The things that you're afraid of to do, the action you're afraid to take, the risk you're afraid to take, you gotta take it. When you feel uncomfortable, you know what? I'm conditioning myself for success.
Most of you have not attained material wealth because you've stayed in your comfort zone. Every family has an aunt, an uncle, a grandfather that went out and lost a family fortune, right? Uncle Harry, crazy Harry, he lost 20,000, 50,000, a million, whatever the number is. Well, that resonates in you, in your brain, your little pea brain. And then you hear another one. Your roommate in college, he's got an Uncle Harry. So pretty soon, the only input that you have is people losing their family fortune. That affects you. I.e., you then live within your comfort zone. I.e., you don't take risks. A turtle can only move forward when it sticks its head and its feet out. And when it sticks its head and its feet out, it's most vulnerable, right? Biggest risk. Most of you have lived a bubble-wrap life. Most of you have been risk-averse. Risk-averse to the extent there are people beyond my comprehension that get all the way through high school with never been screamed at, never been slapped, never been in a fight, never been reprimanded by their parents. And then look at them. Snowflakes. Snowflakes meaning they melt under pressure. And when I say the world is through, look at you. The reason why the aliens haven't come down and taken us over, what the f***? Why? Why? Are they going to learn anything? No.
What would you say your initial inspiration was for the app Daisy?
Well, I mean, it's always been a problem with the industry that I've been aware of, and if I hadn't got the opportunities that I did, then I would have been really stuck knowing how to get in. But in terms of like the actual instigation, Dom was like, we should make an app, and like, I would never have thought of doing that on my own. But yeah, I guess, between me understanding the industry and his initiative, we made it. We made it work.
And what advice would you give to people just to get the most out of the Daisy app?
Networking, that's like the biggest tool within it, and the most important tool. Working with people who are outside of your group, working with exciting people that you feel like are going to push you, and like doing things that are outside of your own comfort zone and applying it to be a part of something that you're really interested in but maybe haven't done before, and take that time to learn and grow.
Also, if you want to learn to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. It's free. The link to join is in the description below.
Whatever you're thinking about it, you will not get it until you take action.
There's a problem with young people. You're not good at anything. Oh, I'm so good. No, tell me the truth. You're not good at anything.
You want people with a like mind and that are better than you, smarter than you, more intelligent than you to get on your bus.
The hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to no longer think the same way, make the same choice, act the same way, create the same experience, or live by the same emotion, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. There is going to be a certain amount of uncertainty and unpredictability. And the moment you feel uncomfortable, you just stepped into the river of change. Now, most people, the moment they feel uncomfortable, they return back to the familiar state of the mind and body. They start thinking the same way, acting the same way, feeling the same way, and they say, this feels right. No, in fact, that feels familiar. Now, going from the old self to the new self is the neurological, is the chemical, is the biological, is the hormonal, and even genetic death of the old self. That void, that place of uncertainty, that unknown, is the perfect place to create in. And if you and I can become comfortable in that unknown and begin to decide who we do want to be. In other words, many people say when they're in that unknown, I can't predict my future. This doesn't feel right. Well, the best way to predict your future is to create it, not in the known, but in the unknown. So what if you said now, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? What behaviors do I want to demonstrate? And if you were to close your eyes and begin to think about how you are going to act, the mere act of mentally rehearsing who you're going to be begins to install the neurological circuits in your brain to look like the experience has already occurred. Now, what that means is that the brain is primed in its circuitry to no longer be living in the past, but now living in the future.
I'm a chef in a large operation kitchen. Recently, during my last review, I was given some advice by my boss and his boss. They said it was important for me to give up some of my kitchen dog mentality and work to showcase my artistic side and embrace more of a star role in the spotlight. Get out of the kitchen a bit more, gain more exposure, specifically with our high-profile clients. Should I heed their advice or stick to what I do best and keep getting after it on my terms?
It's one of those questions.
Sure.
That's just funny how that last statement is framed, right?
Yeah.
Should I stick to what I do best and keep getting after it?
As if to say, if you say no, you should not stick to what you do best.
Yeah,
It's like,
and you should not get after it, right? That's the frame there. And actually, this guy, I answered the question real tersely. I think this came through Facebook messages. You know, I said, sounds like you found a comfortable little zone for yourself and you want to stay in there. Right? A little cold-blooded response. And he's like, oh, I knew it. Because as we know, in the comfort zone, there's no growth in the comfort zone.
No growth in the comfort zone.
If you really don't want to do it, well, then you can keep being the guy that's in the back. And guess what? You're going to be mad in 6 months when some other chef gets hired for a different shift and all of a sudden he's out making friends with everyone and he gets promoted. And why does he get promoted? Well, look at what the guy's doing. But he's not as good as a cook as I am. Guess what? They don't really care. Making the food is only part of what they want you to do. Just like being a SEAL, doing missions is only part of what you need to do the mission.
Yeah.
You can't just be tactically sound. You've got to have the relationships built so you can work in the battle space that's owned by a conventional commander. You got to have the relationship that you can get your missions approved up the chain of command on the special operations side. How do you do that? You build. You go out, you talk to people, you get out of your comfort zone.
Let's talk about the eagles for a minute, because the mother eagle, after sitting on the eggs, protecting it with her life until they hatch, and going out and swimming and attacking prey and bringing back food until they grow, then turns around, the same beak that fed them and the same body that warms them, takes them out to cliffs and throws them over the edge. It is not that she has turned against her children, but she knows that they will never find their wings in safety. The eaglet learns to fly by confronting its scary place. And it's not even trying to fly. It's falling and flapping and thinking mama is crazy. I'm calling Child Protective Services. I gotta get out of this. But in the process of falling and flapping and falling and flapping and falling and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping.
When I, for some reason, felt that I had this small bit of confidence to audition for the drill team, and I made sure I was auditioning for captain, not just to be a part of the team, which was not something that I normally did in my life, like step outside of my comfort zone and do something where I was being put out in front of people. But I auditioned and they made me captain. And the drill team coach, Elizabeth Cantine, saw something in me immediately. She saw an ability that I had, my body proportions, and she thought, you are a ballerina. And I want to introduce you to someone who's giving a free ballet class at the Boys and Girls Club that you already attend. So I was not at all interested in ballet. But after about a week of hiding out in the back of this ballet class on the basketball court, the teacher, Cynthia Bradley, pulled me on, and I took my first class in socks and shorts and a t-shirt.
We are all created to fly, to live by the incredible potential that we have all been invested with. But often we sit on our branches, clinging to the things that are familiar to us, remaining stuck in our comfort zones, not willing to venture out, not willing to take risks. The possibilities are endless, but for most of us, they remain undiscovered because we continue to conform to the familiar, to the comfortable, to the mundane. So for the most part, our lives are mediocre instead of exciting, thrilling, and fulfilling. What is the branch that's holding you back from flying high? What's the fear that's stopping you from taking a risk? What is the weakness that's inhibiting your growth? Unless we cut off the branches we are clinging to and free ourselves, we can never take off and reach newer heights in our life. What are you waiting for? Cut the branch and take your flight.
We've been saying now to 5 million Spartans out there, get out of your comfort zone. Get uncomfortable. If the weather's bad, go outside and do a workout in the bad weather.
Yes.
Right? We're saying to the children, get uncomfortable. And so we're not crazy.
Actually, you go and get into real comfort. Because the real comfort is being activated through the natural elements. First, you get through this little shivering of, it's outside. But then, at a certain moment, it begins to adapt. From the deep inside, begins to adapt to the environment, the environmental stress, and you feel
alive.
Good.
Alive.
You see?
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Grant Cardone on how to get out of your comfort zone that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching the video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. Where do you need to step outside your comfort zone? Number 2, what can you do today to get started? And number 3, who can hold you accountable and do it with you?
You know, I don't think people get out enough. The best things that have happened to me in my life was when I left my room, my house, even the city that I lived in. And I think we stay home too much. Guys, get out. Ladies, leave your house. Get out. Okay? Go out into the world and see what's there. Even get up early to do it. Again, the best things that have happened to me in my life happened outside my house. 29 years old, left the house, moved to Houston. I was terrified. I know somebody think, oh man, Grant ain't scared of nothing. I was so scared to move out of Lake Charles. It was like one of the most terrifying things I've ever done in my life. Once I got there, I was like, I don't even know what I was scared about. I lived there for, I don't know, 5 years maybe. Then I moved to La Jolla, California. Didn't know one person there. Had the life, man. I had the life in La Jolla. I mean, it was unbelievable. Actually went there with a person, a girlfriend. Me and a girlfriend moved there. I moved there. She left about a year later, maybe 2 years later. I had the single man's life, if you know what I mean, in La Jolla. I had it made. I was loving life. And then I reached a point to where I'm like, I need to grow up now. I want a wife and I want kids. I'm on Grant Street. Look at that. I want a wife and kids. And I knew that person was not in La Jolla. I'm talking to you about moving. I'm talking to you about getting outside. I'm talking to you about leave, man. Why have you been in one spot so long? Or maybe one spot you've been in for 10 years now. You've moved once, okay? I left La Jolla and moved to Los Angeles, California. Just so you guys know, nobody goes from, how you doing, sir? Nobody moves from La Jolla and goes to LA. People go from LA to La Jolla. Have a great day, huh? And, say again? Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. The guy's on my book. Now, you see, how would I meet that customer if I hadn't left the house this morning, the hotel? How would I do that? That's crazy, dude. Gotta get out. Gotta get out. Went to LA, lived in LA for, I don't know, 12 years. Had it made in LA. Had this unbelievable house, Lionel Richie's. I'm bragging. Don't get me wrong. I lived in Lionel Richie's house. Lionel wasn't there anymore, so it's my house now. I lived there and all the parties were at my house. It was 3/4 of an acre flat lot in the hills above the Sunset Strip. Doheny Drive in Oriole, spectacular place. We had our we had our 2 kids there in the house. All our friends had been there. We got married in that house. I mean, we were so connected to that house. It was unbelievable. Elena and I, when we first saw the house, it was 4 times my budget. And I'm like, we're buying that house. And you guys know how much I believe, how much I am against buying houses. We fell so in love in that house, in love with each other, in love with the house, in love with our kids there, in love with friends and parties and memories and decorations and antique furniture. We love that house. And then it reached a time where I'm like, I think we got to leave what we love. We were so comfortable there. Sure enough, 5 years ago, I got up and moved to Miami. We've been in Miami 5 years now. We travel all over the world. We're constantly moving, constantly moving.
If you want to know why you can't just have a standard education, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Constant, never-ending improvement.
Improve yourself. You can learn anything.